What's good, everybody? Today we are going to walk through a super quick tutorial. We all know that the film look is super popular these days, especially across social media. So I think it's pretty important that we run through how to import presets generally that you find across the internet into desktop Lightroom and also into mobile Lightroom on your phone, because it's super nice whenever you're taking pictures, especially just with your phone, to be able to edit those with the same Lightroom presets that you're used to using on desktop. That may be what exactly you came for, so that's going to be the first half of this, how to download presets that you find on the internet to desktop and mobile. And second, if you decide to stick around, we're actually going to run through some adjustments, like a little bit of live editing on how to best adjust the various parameters in Lightroom to make your presets look like, really well adjusted to that specific image. Because as you know, every photo has different lighting conditions. You may be shooting something at night, you may be shooting something in the day, there may be flash, there may be a sun behind you, you may be indoors, outdoors, a million different ways to take pictures. And sometimes these presets that you buy from people or you download for free have so many adjustments on them already that they only look good with a specific type of picture. So we're gonna run through how to really fine-tune presets to fit your own images. So we're gonna run through various different pictures, different lighting conditions, and really dive into it. So the very first thing that we're gonna wanna do is let's find some presets that we want to download and potentially use on some of our photos. So we can actually get a free pack of PORTRA 400 Lightroom presets. Let's just play around with these a little bit. We're gonna go to johnpatrickmedia.com, that's my website, and right in the middle here, this says 3, but really it's because I just clicked it. Check out basic information in there, and it's gonna bring you straight to this Dropbox page. So click this, download it. It will look just like this, a little zip drive. We're gonna open that up, and within this folder, we got 3 XMP files, which are the preset files for Lightroom at the moment. So super simple. Keep that folder close by and pop open your Lightroom. I already got it open here, and we're actually gonna go, before you touch any pictures, you can go straight into develop, into presets, this little plus button right here, and import presets. Look at this. I already went through this in a failed attempt of this video earlier, so look at that, it already found it. So I'm gonna select all 3 of these, and I'm actually just gonna click import. So it's gonna run that, and it's gonna say it's complete. And now I have PORTRA 400 bright, clean, and dirty. Now this image is already super post-processed, so don't worry about that. Now that's the first part of this. Now you know how to download these. You basically download them from the internet, hit the import preset, and they will show up in your user presets or as its own folder in your kind of preset category on the left side of your Lightroom develop tab. If you're in library, you're not even gonna see it. It's just gonna be in develop when you're actually editing these photos. So we actually just got Lightroom desktop sorted, and like I said, Apple ecosystem. Obviously if you have an Android and you have a PC, this is gonna be a little bit different process, and there's already tutorials out there for that. There's actually already tutorials out there for this, but we're going a little more in depth. So really quick, let's show you how to do it on mobile. So you basically plug your phone in, navigate to your phone, and you go all the way over here to files. I've already clicked it. So in the Lightroom category, the little drop down, there's 2 files, one with all zeros and one that's a crazy mix of letters and numbers. That is the folder that we want to click, and we want to copy it to our desktop. Now it's going to take some time. I'm not sure why it takes so much time. It's 500 megabytes, but if I try to open this right now, it's not even going to have all of the folders already populated. So we're going to give it just a second. We'll come back. Okay, we're getting there. All right, so this just populated, and you're gonna want to navigate to the settings ACR folder. So click that bad boy and pop open user styles. If you don't see this folder at all, just pop open Lightroom on your mobile device, grab any picture from your camera roll, and just do exposure all the way up, doesn't matter. Do any adjustment and click save as new preset if you don't see this. If you do see it, then we're good. Same deal here. We're gonna pop open the PORTRA free pack from the website, and we're gonna select all these and drop them into user styles. This is key. This is what we're doing. So close that up. We're feeling good here. You're actually gonna delete, don't worry, you're deleting the folder that has the presets because you just added the presets to that same folder. So once that's ready to go and you're feeling confident that the presets are in here, you can double click it, make sure, settings ACR, user styles, boom, there we go. Drag this folder and drop it back into Lightroom. And it takes about the same amount of time that it took to download onto your desktop. This folder is about how much time it's gonna take to download back into your phone. And just don't delete this folder here, because even once you see it, it still hasn't populated fully. So pretty simple. As soon as it's done, we're gonna pop open the phone and play with a couple of photos really quick. So we'll be back here in just a second as soon as this folder's finished uploading. Okay, so good news, our folder with our new presets on it has now imported into Lightroom. So I'm gonna run this screen recording, and we're entering into the third chapter of this. You're gonna make sure first that these actually work. So I've got a selection of photos here. Let's go presets. And you hit the drop down, you'll actually see a PORTRA 400 category with 3 presets in it. And we're money now. So I'm actually gonna hit bright on here. So really quickly, bright has a little bit of boost and exposure and a little bit touch more grain than clean. Clean is like, oh, this is a perfect digital image. I was already stoked on this. I just wanna take it from a 9 to a 10. That's when you use clean. Dirty is like gonna have the most grit. It's got a lot of grain, pretty warm. A lot of these are warm, but the colors on all these presets are gonna be pretty similar. So, I mean, straight off the bat, this image compared to the original, like without adjusting anything, is superior. So let's go to another image that like might be a little more tough. Look at this, the blues are super blue. You can barely make out the details like on these two guys here. So let's use the bright, since we do need a little bit of boost of exposure. And wow, that's a pretty astonishing difference. That was a little too easy as well. So let's run to a different one here, something with a completely different lighting scenario. Overcast. This was shot in Austin. This is my friend Namoon. We're gonna go over to presets once again, and I already like this image a lot, so I'm gonna hit clean. Now this is gonna need a little bit of touch because you can tell he's too warm in this. So we're gonna bring our temperature down. A good rule of thumb here, if you've never really played with color temperature or tint, is to go too far, like go dramatically too far to one side, and then go dramatically too warm, and then keep bouncing. Use the numbers to get closer and closer to your ideal middle ground. And that's what I just did now. And I think we could use a little more pink. Yeah. Wow, this is looking a lot better than the original. So this is after and that's before. So feeling pretty good about it. No cap. Looking great. Okay, Bobby. Bobby needs a preset to really spice this picture up. Now that's looking pretty good, but I can tell that there's a lot of green on the edges of his arms and kind of by his elbow over here. So we're gonna go to color, and we're gonna move that tint over to the right. Just get that right. And we're gonna bring the temperature back to the cool side a little bit more. I'm liking that. I'm liking this a lot. This would be after, and this would be before. You even get more details on the shadows here. Not only does it make all the colors have a nicer tonality, but it desaturates it and makes it richer at the same time. It's a really lovely preset, and you know, I'm happy to send this to Bobby right now in its edited form. He's gonna be really excited about it. So let's use a completely different lighting scenario, something like a beach. We'll run this, I'm thinking dirty, just because it's already so gritty by the sand. I'm already seeing a lot of green tone here in the sand, so I'm gonna go over to color. This one's just gonna need a little bit of adjustment. I'm gonna go to the pink, and I'm going to cool it off. No, we're gonna warm it up. That's looking closer to what we saw that day. Now look at that image and look at the original. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. That is a superior image to the original. All right, we'll do one more of these and then we'll run it on desktop. So great, a little overcast, a little in the middle. This was shot on iPhone, as all of these photos that I'm editing on mobile were. I think this looks really good. I just want to see maybe a little more saturation, maybe? Not too much. I just want to see those yellows come out. And look at the details and the shadows are a lot better. I could be interested in seeing what a cooler image would look like. I mean, if you think that the first one looks better than the second, that's your opinion, and I respect it, but I personally think that with the preset added and the slight adjustments made, I think this looks way better. I'm seeing way more information in the shadows and the dark areas, and overall I'm happier to send that one around than the original. So love it. I have a few more on here we could do, but we don't want to make this too long, so let's cut that screen recording off. Great. And let's go to desktop, because this is when things get spicy. So I've already imported just a moment ago a selection of photos that were shot on like nicer cameras, like consumer cameras. None of these are like super professional, but you know, DSLRs, mirrorless cameras. And I've got some like subjects as people, I've got some landscapes. So like, let's just jump right into it, because this is the last section of our tutorial today. Is we've now got these presets imported, but we can't just, you know, click them and run. Like we want to fine tune them to make sure that they're, you know, gonna really sing for our images. This right here, we can bring the exposure way down. And there's tutorials about how to use the histogram. Like we don't want to spend that much time doing that today, but feel free to browse YouTube. Tons of good stuff about the histogram and like how to make perfect exposures in camera and just in post on editing. So I'm seeing a lot of green in the shadows over here. I'm actually going to push this pink. That's too much. Digging that, and I think a little warmth. Woo! Yo, this looks really good. And I think it is still just a touch too pink. So I'm at 36, I'm gonna go to like 30, go to 25. Yes, sir. That right here, compared to this, we're absolutely winning in terms of editing here. This one is gonna be interesting because this was shot rather overcast. This is Courtney Taylor. We did a shoot a little while back, and we've got really nice kind of bokeh in the background, and we've got, you know, like this is shot at a pretty wide aperture. So she's perfectly in focus, these plants are in focus, and that's gonna create some interesting color shifts for us. So let's use clean, because I think we're already looking really good here. Like her exposure is really nice. And let's see what we can do with that. We're gonna go here. Let's actually find this image of Courtney. Let's reset this because my computer was being a little slow. So first thing we're gonna do, hit the preset. And we're already liking the way this is looking, but I can tell that her skin tone is just a little too pink. So I'm gonna roll this back over to the green side until we get that nice warm glow that I know is representative of how it looked in person. And already this image compared to the previous, we're pretty happy with that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. What do we even need to change? Like we could definitely cool it off just a touch. Yep, I think that's what it needed. I mean, before and after. There it is. Yeah, I'd be happy to send this to Courtney in this form as after right here, and that did not even take that much time. Like I would do beauty retouching if it's like for a client, but I mean if it's just for fun and you're having, you know, a good time with your friends, like you're gonna wanna send them something that's got a little bit of sauce on it, and like this is all the sauce you need to give it that film flavor. Okay, this is a kind of a landscape. This was shot in London. Already this is looking a lot better. I'm gonna bring the exposure down just a little bit so I can see some of my highlights better. And I'm seeing a little too much blue, so let's warm it up. A little too much blue. There we go. There we go. Straight off the bat, this image compared to this image, I mean, I think you're gonna be pretty stoked on this after image, like 10 out of 10 times. So much more detail in the shadows too. Like you can even like see what's going on over here, which in the original, you like, your eyes are really drawn over here. Now you kind of have a more balanced image going on, and that's what we want. So this is my buddy Wes. We've got an interesting lens flare going on, and we've got really bright highlights. So let's do this one dirty actually. Let's get the strong grain and really send it with our texture. Obviously we need to cool that off. And another thing, since this is a little hazy, I'm gonna push the dehaze up and just see what we can do with that. When I do that, it makes it really green, so we're gonna push it to the pink. Wow. Warm. It's too warm. That's looking very nice, and especially with this grain, it's looking pretty similar to some PORTRA 400. I mean, you pick a before and after, and I think you're gonna go with after every time. A little rooftop shot. Already like the exposure here. I don't even have to touch this. This looks fantastic. The detail in the shadows, like you can see the jacket, he's separated from the background better. The skin tones look great. How many times can I say that is a better question, but I think that's a pretty superior image compared to the original here. Let's just do one more. Different lighting conditions. Okay, this is already gonna look good, I just know, because it's already cool. But let's see if we can spice it up. Okay. We're gonna cool it down. Wow. It just looks awesome. I'm gonna throw a little contrast, and we're gonna do a little bit of pink to just give it that sheen. Wow. There's not even much you have to do to this. Like, this preset's pretty solid on its own here. I boosted the clarity a little bit, and when I did that, it kind of made me want to bring the pinks down just a little, but compared to the original, I'm really satisfied with this after image. And I think that you guys are going to be pretty satisfied with how they make your photos look as well. We don't need to do too much more in-depth editing. We can do one more. Because it's already pushing the time. Let's do this one. I like the lens flare on this one a little bit. Yeah, it looks cool. Let's go bright. Let's bring the exposure down. Yep. Let's bring the temperature back to earth. Our temperature's good, now we need more pink. Not that much. No, the temperature was good. I think this is looking really good. We're just gonna add some clarity. That's gonna really separate him from the background here, and we're gonna dehaze this one as well. Now we need a little more exposure when we do that. Wow. Okay. I mean, these are fine-tuned color and exposure adjustments. But I think, I mean, you're gonna download these. You already know how to do this from the beginning of the tutorial, but you're gonna download these, and especially if you do this on mobile, you're gonna be able to fire off edits on the fly. You could be anywhere in the world. You don't even need internet to do this after you've like gone through this process, and you can immediately export it to your camera roll, airdrop it to a friend, airdrop it to a client if it's somebody you're working for. And I just think overall you're gonna be really happy with the breadth of usability with these presets right here. I mean, these are only 3 presets, and I'm about to make a lot more. I mean, I'm happy to make a pack that's like, you know, 10, 15 long, already has these fine-tune adjustments for the various lighting conditions, and make it for like the price of a coffee. Like, I'm super happy to like do this more often, but at the end of the day, like, the goal is to make your pictures better, to make you happier with your own images, and to just make the entire community like more stoked on their own images, because the more stoked you are on your own images, the more likely you are to go out and shoot and create, and the more creators in the world, the happier I'm gonna be. So I really appreciate you watching this, and I hope you learned something, whether about editing or just general knowledge of how to import things that you find across the interwebs. So if you liked it, feel free to leave me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of this type of content, let me know and subscribe. I also shoot tours for music artists, so if you're curious about how to A, maybe jump on a tour, B, how to run and gun shoot for a tour, how to edit really quickly backstage as soon as the concert's over, so you know all the posts are ready for the next day, and you know, general vibes about how to get your act together to where that this is, you know, something you may want to do, let's talk about it. Let's make some videos about it. Let me know. I'm happy to do it. So again, thanks for stopping by, and happy editing.